Well, good Sunday morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Blue Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, this literally, and I mean literally, does not work. You know, I'm on the road, and you know the thing I love about being on the road is it gets me to be one with my thoughts, okay? You know, and I'm never alone. I'm never alone because, you know, there's always all kinds of shit that's going on up in here. But driving for me is cathartic. I can kind of think about things, run scenarios in my head, come up with solutions. Like a lot of times when I have something to build and it's different, me driving gives me an opportunity to clear my head and focus on it as well as the road. So I'm sitting here thinking about the NFC East, okay? We've heard so much talk by the talking heads and everything else about each of the teams, and you know, this team could be the team to beat and everything else, especially about the Washington football team. And now that we've had the first week of preseason in the books, after watching each of the teams and stuff, what you realize, first of all, is nobody's really playing anybody. They really aren't. I mean, let's be clear. Dak didn't play at all. Murray didn't play at all. D-Law hasn't played. Randy Gregory hasn't played. Tyron Smith hasn't played. You know, most of our big guns have not played for the Dallas Cowboys yet. And what you're looking at is teams not really necessarily coaching to win, but really to get practice and hopefully get out alive. You don't want to lose somebody, you know, out here trying to win a meaningless game. And let's be clear, these games mean nothing. The Detroit Lions went 4-0 and proceeded to go 0-16. It's true. Preseason is meaningless. However, you can start getting a feel. And if you really start looking at the NFC East, or as last year being known as the NFC Least, the Washington football team winning the division with a losing record at 7-9, it's just bad. And quite frankly, what we've seen thus far from all of the teams doesn't look real good, at least, especially offensively. If I look at the Washington football team, you know, you have Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's the true definition of a journeyman quarterback. If you look up journeyman quarterback in Wikipedia or dictionary, if they still have dictionaries, I don't know if they even have them anymore, I guarantee you will see a picture of Ryan Fitzpatrick. 38 years old, been on 11 teams, has an NFL record starts for 8 teams. I know that, you know, all the talking heads out there are saying that Ryan Fitzpatrick, you know, if Ryan Fitzpatrick can play really well, if Ryan Fitzpatrick can play really well, he wouldn't have been on 11 teams. He is basically the guy to get the other guy ready to actually play and then gets moved on. I'm not saying that he has had some good streaks, because usually he's good for about 4 or 5 games or so, and then things have a tendency to tail off. I mean, he is known as Ryan Fitzpatrick, Fitz magic, so to speak, and he does. He is magic. You know, 4 games, you know, it's like, oh, wow, he wows you, and then he doesn't disappear again. Literally, just disappears and ends up reappearing on another team. So that, to me, is the Achilles heel for that team. That truly is. The thing that scares me about Washington, though, is Chase Young. Perfect name for a pass rusher. Chase. I mean, come on, how more fitting than that? You know, I mean, Chase Killer is, you know, would be about the only other way you can make it any better. Seeing him going against New England with the offensive tackle Win, I don't know how good Win is, but he literally left his jockstrap on the field, because Chase Young just literally boom, 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 and just went through there. Now, I will say that there are ways that you can slow down that rush, and that is by using screen plays. By taking, say, Zeke Elliott and having him do a little chip, give him the flipper on the way out as it goes past him, like, oh, I missed you, and then he's wide open right there, because now that area that Chase Young has vacated is now open, and you start using those screen plays to set them up. So there are ways to go ahead and negate that. And I look at the Cowboys with the offensive effectiveness that they should have, provided that lat muscle of Dax is fine, that Amari Cooper, who's now back on the field, is back in there, and when they get that whole offense, I just think the Cowboys will be able to outscore the Washington football team. But then again, it is football, and you never know who's going to get hurt and who's going to show up and really, really play well. We got the Eagles. We know Philly 500 has them already in the playoffs. And, he's saying, oh, they're going to win the division. But what else do you expect from Philly 500? Okay. He is literally Mr. Optimism when it comes to the Eagles. And he's finally gotten off the Carson Wentz bandwagon, and he's now on the Jalen Hurts bandwagon as well. The Eagles, I think, they don't scare me right now. They have a lot of building to do. Jalen Hurts, 5 games under his belt. I don't know. They're number 1 draft pick wide receiver, and for whatever reason, there's always receivers that have a lot of promise for them, or high draft picks that kind of peter out. When they took Whiteside, 2nd round pick, Philly 500, oh yeah, it's a great pick. He's going to do wonderful things. He'll probably get cut this year. And remember what he said about Justin Jefferson? He didn't want Justin Jefferson. I don't want Justin Jefferson because he's ass. Well, basically all everybody saw was Justin Jefferson's ass as he was running down the field, because dude was a beast. 1,400 yards. So, Philly, you missed on that one as well. But, of course, you were happy about Rhaegar, yeah. Left a bit to be desired. So, I still think the Eagles have quarterback, wide receiver issues. They have a really good offensive line if they stay healthy. The defense is still pretty good, but they've got a coach that does rock, paper, scissors. Let me say it again. Rock, paper, scissors to understand how to evaluate his players. You mean you're evaluating guys on a game that there really is no way to win? That's as bad as when we had Alexander saying that the ketchup bottle test. You remember the Heinz ketchup? He said he evaluates his offensive linemen on whether or not they know to tap the 57 on the bottle so the ketchup will come out easy. Problem is, who still uses the ketchup bottle? Everybody's got a plastic squeeze bottle. Outdated. Then we go to the New York stinking Giants. The Giants, who were offensively challenged last year. How bad was that offense? And I'm still trying to understand where everybody said that Jason Garrett was a difference maker for them, the coach. You do realize that the New York Giants were second to last in offense, only better than the New York Jets, who they played last night. Jets won 12-7. They got all kinds of wide receivers. Tons of wide receivers. Tons of wide receivers. But they don't have an offensive line. Barkley, when's he going to play again? Everybody keeps talking about Barkley as a game changer and that and the other. Barkley can't stay on the field. So as I'm looking at this, and my own Cowboys, like I said, right now, Garrett Gilbert had a decent first game. They couldn't get in the end zone as a backup. Second game, it was okay. Although he had some drops and he had some bad snaps from Connor Williams. They're still trying to figure out who's going to be the backup to Tyler Badish. And what's clear with the Cowboys is health is going to be key. If we have Tyron Smith out there and he plays the whole season, something he hasn't done since 2015. If we got Lyle Collins, another road grader out there, and he stays healthy coming back from hip issues last year, if we can definitely keep Tyler Badish upright, because we don't really have a backup center. If Connor Williams can stay away from being center and stick at guard, and Zach Martin stays healthy, I'll take that offensive line against anybody. But if we lose some key pieces on there, we're in trouble. And as much as people like to look at the skilled positions, so to speak, and having played offensive and defensive line, there's a lot of skill that's actually involved in playing the line. Don't let them fool you that anybody can just be plugged in and be an offensive guard or a center or a defensive tackle. There's a lot of skill that is involved in technique in there. If we can go ahead and keep that offensive line healthy, there's nobody in the league that we cannot keep up with in Dak as well. Let's be clear. Garrett and Ben DiNucci, and all you Ben DiNucci fans, I know you're excited. because Mr. Sidearm Sally did get a touchdown pass. It's not the same. It's not the same. The thing I'm actually excited about, worried about Gallimore being injured, is it's going to give opportunities for other guys. This gives Tristan Hill new life to be able to actually make the roster since he's been on the pup list. It's kind of bad that we're looking at saying a guy who can't practice now, we need to replace a guy who's already injured. Ugh. I didn't think about that. That sounds kind of bad. You got a broke-up guy helping to take the place of a broke-up guy. The thing I do like, though, is all of a sudden we've got edge rushers galore. Bradley and I think he just made enough noise where you got to look at him and say, okay, maybe we got to keep him in there. You know, he was kind of like release the Kraken in that game. You look at another JMU Duke and Rondell Carter. Rondell showed some speed up in there. Now, be it this is, against second string guys, but it definitely looks like some players that you want to at least try and stash on practice squad. So, after saying all of that about the NFC East, after week 1 for everybody else and week 2 in the preseason, who's the favorite? Well, still kind of early to tell. This week will be a bigger week because this will probably be the key preseason game, because you don't really want to go all out on the last preseason game and get somebody hurt. If somebody were to get hurt, it's still a couple of weeks before the season goes, and this will give you a chance to really get your starters together and have that competition for the guys that you want to say, I need to see who the best guy is, and that's where we are. So look for this week. Dak may play. I hope we don't play too much. I don't need to see him and Amari Cooper and the gang out there. I want them healthy. But this will be more of a true test and true game this week. So that's all I got to say about that. And I want to thank you guys, because you just helped me get about 12 more miles down the road. Hope you guys are having a great Sunday. And remember, from here until Super Bowl Sunday, there's only 2 Sundays that there won't be football games. I know, ladies. Damn. Yeah, football season is here. And as always, I appreciate you guys. I'll see you on the other side.